And it looked like the Cleveland Browns locker room is ready to turn on Kevin Stefanski a day before tomorrow's matchup against the Bengals. For any coach, man, the biggest fear I feel like is your team turning on you in locker room drama. Well, I'm here to tell you, insiders and people that is close to the Cleveland Browns football team is letting it be known that is exactly the case that is boiling and brewing in the Cleveland Browns locker room.
Breaking news out of Cleveland. And no, this isn't about another sad Sunday meltdown or the latest joke at the Browns' expense. What's bubbling under the surface right now makes blown coverages and missed field goals look like child's play. Word around the league is that the Browns' locker room isn't just tense, it's on the verge of erupting. And at the center of it all, not Deshaun Watson, not Joe Flacco, not even head coach Kevin Stefanski. The name that has everyone whispering is Shedeur Sanders, a rookie who hasn't even taken a single meaningful snap in the NFL. Yet somehow, his presence alone has thrown the entire franchise into chaos. Veterans are side-eyeing the coach, younger players are buzzing like it's college all over again, and rumors suggest Stefanski himself might be holding on to a secret that could flip the whole season upside down. It's drama, it's betrayal, and it's the kind of story only Cleveland could deliver. Because while other teams fight about schemes, playbooks, and execution, the Browns are once again headlining a saga that feels less like football and more like a prime-time soap opera. But why exactly is Shedeur Sanders causing such a storm without ever stepping on the field? And is Kevin Stefanski about to lose his grip on the locker room before the season even starts? Step inside the Browns locker room right now, and it doesn't sound like a team chasing wins. It sounds like a storm waiting to break. The whispers are everywhere, bouncing off the walls louder than any pregame speech. And the target of all that tension? Head coach Kevin Stefanski. Rumors suggest the veterans, the guys who spent years grinding through injuries and heartbreak, are losing faith. They're questioning whether Stefanski has lost his grip, his nerve, or maybe both. And here's the wild part. It's not because of blown assignments or a collapsing defense. It's not even about Deshaun Watson's roller coaster Sundays. The supposed crime is Shedeur Sanders standing on the sideline with a clipboard. Think about that. A rookie quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass, hasn't taken a hit, hasn't even run a 2-minute drill in the NFL. And yet he's managed to split the locker room in two. On one side, you have frustrated veterans wondering why the future isn't being unleashed. On the other, you've got a head coach digging in his heels, preaching patience and discipline. But patience doesn't sell jerseys. Patience doesn't light up social media. Patience doesn't fill stadiums. And in Cleveland, a city desperate for magic after decades of heartbreak, patience is running out faster than a cell phone battery on game day. Behind those closed doors, the tension is so thick you could slice it with a face mask. Some players are starting to mutter under their breath that Stefanski is holding the team back. Others are side-eyeing him like he's hiding something bigger. And whether those suspicions are true or not, one thing's clear. Once players start questioning their coach, it's only a matter of time before the whispers turn into open rebellion. And here's the kicker. All this noise is happening before Shedeur Sanders has even played a real down of NFL football. If there's one thing Cleveland never runs short on, it's drama. While other franchises argue over missed coverages or bad clock management, the Browns seem contractually obligated to invent chaos out of thin air. This team doesn't just play football, it finds new ways to write a soap opera every season. It's almost comical. Around the league, you'll hear players bickering about scheme adjustments or defensive breakdowns. In Cleveland, the hottest debate isn't about who blew an assignment, it's about a rookie who hasn't even set foot on the field. And that's the Browns in a nutshell. When there's peace, they invent noise. When there's stability, they flip the table. It's as if the franchise is allergic to normal. Every year, just when fans start to believe things might finally be turning around, something bizarre happens, and suddenly the whole season feels like an episode of reality TV. Think back. Johnny Manziel was supposed to be the savior. Baker Mayfield was supposed to be the savior. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be the savior. And now, without even taking a single snap, Shedeur Sanders is being cast as the next one in line. It's the same old cycle, just with a new name. Hype arrives, chaos follows, and the locker room starts to fray at the edges. The Browns aren't just cursed on the field, they're cursed off it too. Somehow, the distractions always feel bigger than the game itself. And right now, the distraction with Shedeur Sanders isn't just buzzing in the media. It's leaking straight into the locker room, and veterans are starting to wonder whether Kevin Stefanski can hold this circus together. Because once players sense that their coach is losing control, history shows us how quickly things unravel in Cleveland.
But here's the twist. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about perception, belief, and the kind of hype machine that can swallow a franchise whole. Here's the thing about Shedeur Sanders. He's not just another rookie quarterback. He's already a brand, a story, a movement, before he's even thrown a pass in the NFL. And that's what makes this situation in Cleveland so volatile. The players see it, the fans feel it, the media feeds it, and the obsession is spreading like wildfire. Shedeur doesn't even need to step on the field to dominate the conversation. His college highlights are replayed in slow motion across social media, set to dramatic music, edited like movie trailers. The wristwatch celebration, the laser throws, the confidence that oozes through every clip, it's enough to hypnotize an entire fan base. And once that kind of hype starts flooding into a locker room, it's almost impossible to ignore. For veterans, it's confusing. Some of them are rolling their eyes at the idea that a kid fresh out of college is suddenly the savior of a city that's been burned before. But others, they're secretly buying into it. They see the swagger, the celebrity aura, the sense that Shedeur isn't just another player, he's a ticket to relevance, to headlines, to money. Because make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders isn't just hyped for the fans, he's business. If Shedeur takes the field, ticket sales skyrocket, jerseys sell out, national media coverage shifts overnight to Cleveland. And in a league where exposure equals money, that matters to everyone, from the front office down to the practice squad. That's why some players are restless. It's not just about whether Shedeur can actually deliver wins. It's about what he represents. To them, he's a symbol of possibility, a chance to finally break the curse, a golden key that might open doors Cleveland's been locked out of for decades. And the more Shedeur sits on the bench, the louder that obsession grows. The whispers get sharper, the tension rises, and Stefanski finds himself painted not as the leader of the team, but as the man standing in the way of the dream. Because in Cleveland, reality doesn't trend, but Shedeur Sanders does. But here's where the fantasy collides with the cold, ugly truth. The NFL is not college football. It's not highlight reels on TikTok or flashy edits on Instagram. It's a different world entirely, and it's ruthless. In college, Shedeur Sanders was untouchable. He could pick apart defenses that were slower, smaller, less disciplined. He could stand tall, throw lasers, and celebrate like a superstar. But Sundays in the NFL, that's where the speed looks like something out of a video game. Defensive ends chase you like Olympians, and when they hit, it feels like being slammed by a refrigerator on wheels. One wrong read, one late throw, and a rookie doesn't just lose a drive, he risks getting folded in half before he even knows what happened. And that's exactly why Kevin Stefanski is pumping the brakes. He sees the hype, he hears the chants, but he also knows how quickly hype can turn into heartbreak. Throw Shedeur in too early, and the kid might drown before he's had a chance to swim. But here's the problem. Logic doesn't trend. Fans don't want patience, players don't want patience. Everyone is looking for the magic bullet that saves the season right now. And when a coach chooses discipline over drama, patience over passion, it starts to look less like leadership and more like stubbornness. That's the clash ripping through Cleveland. Stefanski's reality is simple. Protect the rookie, build him slowly, don't let hype ruin his development. But the team's reality? They're tired of waiting. They're convinced Shedeur is the missing spark, and every game he stays sidelined feels like a wasted chance. It's the classic NFL standoff. The cautious coach versus the restless players. And once that gap widens, once players start to believe patience is just an excuse, frustration spreads faster than any defensive blitz. And right now, in Cleveland, that frustration is reaching a boiling point. And this is where the whispers turn dark, because it's one thing for players to question patience. It's another for them to start wondering if something more deliberate is happening. Reports floating out of Cleveland suggest that some veterans believe Kevin Stefanski isn't just being cautious, he might be sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' chances from the jump. Now, let's be clear, there's no hard proof of this, just speculation swirling through the locker room. But in a city this desperate, rumors spread like wildfire. It starts with little details. Players noticed that when Shedeur got snaps, the play calling shifted. Instead of balanced drives, it looked pass-heavy, predictable, almost designed to stall. Other quarterbacks, meanwhile, were given safer, cleaner sequences. Checkdowns, easy reads, short yardage setups. To some, it felt like a stacked deck. And then came the 2-minute drill incident. Fans and even players expected Shedeur to get that chance, to prove he could handle the pressure. Instead, he was yanked. A last-minute substitution put a quarterback fresh off the street into that spot, and it left the entire room scratching their heads. Why pull the rookie in the exact scenario that tests leadership? Why give those reps to someone who might not even make the roster?
That single move fueled the narrative that Stefanski is blocking Shedeur's path, whether by design or by fear. Some say he doesn't trust the rookie. Others whisper he doesn't want to risk the kid outshining the veterans he's already committed to. And the boldest theory? That Stefanski is protecting himself, because once Shedeur hits the field and delivers, the story shifts from Stefanski's coaching to Shedeur's stardom. Now again, none of this is confirmed fact, but in the world of NFL locker rooms, perception is reality. And right now, the perception is brutal. The coach is gatekeeping a rookie everyone else wants to see unleashed. And once players start believing that narrative, it doesn't matter what Stefanski's true motives are, the damage is already done. If this whole Shedeur Sanders drama feels familiar, that's because it is. Cleveland has been living inside the same loop for decades, a quarterback carousel that spins so fast it could make you dizzy. Johnny Manziel was supposed to be the savior. Then it was Baker Mayfield. Then Deshaun Watson. Before them, dozens of names that fans barely remember, buried in the graveyard of quarterbacks who were hyped, rushed, or simply broken by the chaos of this franchise. The Browns have gone through more quarterbacks than most people go through phone chargers. And every time, the story sounds the same. This is the guy who's going to change everything. Now, Shedeur Sanders has become the next name written into that cycle. He hasn't thrown a single NFL touchdown, hasn't even played a full preseason game that mattered. But already, the hype around him is louder than most veterans get in their entire careers. He's not just a prospect, he's being marketed as the future, the chosen one, the quarterback who might finally break the curse. But here's the problem. In Cleveland, hype almost always comes before heartbreak. Fans pump up their new hero, the media piles on the pressure, and before the season even hits its stride, that quarterback is drowning under expectations no rookie could ever meet. By Thanksgiving, the conversation shifts from "this is our savior" to "who's next?" That's the Browns' tragic tradition. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is being fed into that same cycle. A rookie wrapped in star power, dropped into a city that chews up quarterbacks like sunflower seeds. For Kevin Stefanski, that history looms large. He knows what happens when a young quarterback is thrown into the fire too early. He's seen the cautionary tales. But the players in the locker room, the fans in the stands, they don't care about the ghosts of quarterbacks past. All they see is a shiny new spark sitting on the sideline while another season feels like it's slipping away. And in Cleveland, that's all it takes for this cycle to spin again. Inside the Browns facility, the tension isn't just rumor anymore, it's real. The team feels split right down the middle, like a rope being pulled in opposite directions. And that rope, it's fraying. On one side, you've got the veterans. These are the guys who've been through endless losing seasons, who've seen hype come and go, who know that one rookie can't magically erase decades of dysfunction. They want stability. They want a steady hand. To them, Kevin Stefanski's slow, methodical approach makes sense. It's safer. It's professional. But then there's the other side. The younger players, the ones who grew up watching Shedeur's highlights on social media, who see his swagger, his energy, his brand. To them, Shedeur isn't just another teammate, he's excitement. He's momentum. He's a spark waiting to be lit. And in a league where energy can flip a season, they're convinced he's the answer. The problem? Once a locker room divides like this, belief starts replacing logic. It doesn't matter what the playbook says. It doesn't matter how Stefanski explains his decision-making. If half the room believes Shedeur Sanders is being held back, that belief alone is enough to undermine everything else. Because here's the truth about NFL teams. Performance matters, but belief matters more. A coach can survive bad play calls. He can survive ugly losses. But once players stop believing in him, once they start seeing him as the obstacle instead of the leader, it's game over. Right now, that's exactly where Kevin Stefanski is standing, on the edge of losing his locker room. To the veterans, he looks like discipline. To the younger guys, he looks like a roadblock. And when both sides are staring at the same man, but seeing two completely different things, it's only a matter of time before the cracks become a full-blown collapse. And in Cleveland, where the smallest spark can set the whole house on fire, this division could be the fuse that blows up the entire season. Kevin Stefanski is standing at the most dangerous crossroads of his coaching career. No matter which road he takes, the risks could be fatal.
If he caves to the hype and throws Shedeur Sanders into the fire too soon, the rookie could get eaten alive by NFL defenses. One bad outing, one brutal hit, and the savior could be broken before his career even begins. And if that happens, it won't just be Shedeur who takes the blame, it'll be Stefanski, the coach who sacrificed development for desperation. But if Stefanski digs in, refuses to budge, and keeps Shedeur on the bench, he risks something just as deadly: losing his team. Every snap without Shedeur adds fuel to the whispers that he's blocking the future. Every loss feels heavier, every mistake magnified, every moment painted as the coach standing in the way of hope. And once players decide their leader isn't fighting for them, it doesn't matter how smart the play calls are. Authority collapses overnight. It's a no-win scenario. Play Shedeur too early, and you might destroy the very thing you're trying to protect. Wait too long, and you might lose the locker room completely. Both paths end with Stefanski standing in the blast zone, surrounded by a city and a fan base ready to point the finger. And that's the brutal reality of Cleveland football. It's not just about X's and O's. It's not just about talent. It's about perception, pressure, and a spotlight so heavy it can crush even the strongest shoulders. Right now, the Browns aren't just playing games on Sundays. They're teetering on the edge of a full-blown civil war. And whether Stefanski bends or breaks, one thing is certain: whatever happens next will be peak Cleveland. So, here we are, Cleveland once again standing at the center of an NFL storm of its own making. On one side is Kevin Stefanski, a coach trying to steady the ship, protect his rookie, and cling to discipline in a city that craves instant fireworks. On the other is Shedeur Sanders, a rookie who hasn't even played a real down yet, but already carries the weight of a franchise on his shoulders, worshipped as the spark that could change everything. The tension is real. The locker room is divided. The fans are restless, and the question that hangs over all of it is brutally simple. Does Stefanski unleash Shedeur now, or hold the line and risk tearing his team apart? History tells us Cleveland can't escape its quarterback curse. Hype arrives, chaos follows, and the franchise spins in circles while everyone else moves forward. But maybe this time is different. Maybe Shedeur Sanders really is the one. Or maybe he's just the next name destined for the Browns' endless graveyard of what-ifs. Either way, one thing guaranteed: this saga is far from over. In fact, it's only just getting started. So tell me this, if you're in Stefanski's shoes, what do? Do you ride the wave of hype and hand the keys to Shedeur right now? Or do you hold him back, risk the backlash, and pray patience pays off? Drop your thoughts below, because this story isn't just Cleveland's anymore. It's the NFL's biggest question mark. And however it ends, you can bet it's going to be peak Browns.